these inequalities that avoid the trap doors solve exactly the same as the equations. The only difference between equations and inequalities, I know I have to say equations weird because now we have equations and inequalities, right? So we normally say like equations, but that's actually not right. We Americans are very bad at saying where it doesn't really belong. So what we're thinking about is how to isolate the x, right, by using inverse operations to get rid of the 1, get rid of the 4, get rid of the 2, get rid of the 8. Who, what? 3, 3. So actually, because I will be showing these Google Docs and stuff a little bit, I'm trying to figure out how to give access, like through Schoology, so I don't have to post every single one. But notice right up here is going to be the date that we're working on stuff. So blue is leading right now. So this is blue, and then this will be green tomorrow.
I couldn't hear you very well, so I thought you said what's an 8? And I was like, what?
It's the number after 7.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what?
Today? Yep. So because we've had that question multiple times, might as well, the date is right there on my paper, 3/3/21. Tree. All right, Stella, thank you for volunteering via random cards, you know. What do I do first in that first problem there? Oh, but this is one of those times when you don't get to pass. So would we want to take care of the 4 first or the 1 first? So when we're working this, it might help you to write this off to the side. And remember that we're going up, right? So we actually undo addition or subtraction first. So Lily, how would we undo that subtraction? Yeah, we add 1 to both sides. That now leaves us with 4x is less than 12. Oh, sorry, I forgot my x. What? Yeah, like we said yesterday, x is going to end up being a range of things, but we want to find that barrier number, right? That point that like splits from what we're allowed to be and not allowed to be. Natalie, what do I do now to get rid of this 4? How's it attached to the x? How do we undo it? Yeah, we want to divide. Just a reminder, guys, as we get more and more comfortable wearing masks, make sure it's still up above your nose. It's not a chin strap, it's a mask. Just as I look around class. So we get x is less than 3. So is x allowed to be 3? No, but x could be 2 or 1 or 0 or -1 or -2 or -3 or -4. Like Lily said, it can be a bunch of things. But 3 is that barrier. It's like the fence that says, well, you can't go past 3, and you're actually only allowed to be less than 3. Nate, what do I do first over here on the next one? Yeah, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. Guys, I hope you're writing this stuff down because on our quiz today, you're going to be allowed to use these notes and these notes only. So none of your notes from like last week or any other time. But these problems solve very, very similar to what you're solving today. So literally these warm-up problems could be your reminder as we take that quiz. And actually, as I say it out loud, I might actually change my mind on that. You should be able to complete that quiz with no help at all. It is 3 equation problems. The first 2 are numbers just like this, and then the last one has a decimal and a fraction, just to be a tiny bit tougher. Sydney, what do I do now to get 8x to turn into just x? Yeah, divide by 8. And that has to happen on both sides. And that ends up saying x is? Anybody? Greater than 4, right? Be careful, Nate. We can't just say x is 4 because x is actually not allowed to be 4. So it could be 5, it could be 6, it could be 7, it could be 8, it could be 9. We could keep going. And the last one here, Martin, what do I do first? Yeah, we minus 13 from both sides. Now be careful. 2 bad guys. They're going to get along. So this actually becomes a negative 50. And we get 5x is greater than or equal to that negative 50. Lacey, what do I do now?
Then you would divide by 5.
Divide by 5. And Isaiah, to make sure I get through the entire stack, how do I say this answer? Yeah, x is greater than or equal to, or like allowed to be, right? But how we technically say it is or equal to. Absolutely, good job. X is greater than or equal to negative 10. I have a reminder here of your trap door, except on your notes, I fixed it, right? So if you remember yesterday's, and this is, I had printed a copy of these notes that I was proofing. This is what your notes look like now, right? So notice I fixed on this side that these become positive. So there's no mistake on this trapdoor special rule indication here. So take another couple minutes. We'll probably just run through the whole stack again. Solve these problems, but watch out for that trapdoor. Watch out for that trapdoor. I will do the first one for you up there. So if you end up needing help, look at the board. But I would say if you don't feel like you need help, don't look at the board. Don't let yourself do that. Try it on your own. First one is there to help you out. Second and third are all you guys. Mrs. Pettigrew. So loud. John Green is even louder. Oh, I like John Green, so. Well, I do like Mrs. Pettigrew, but I'm just saying I don't really care when a video is loud when I like the content. I don't care when Mrs. Pettigrew's loud either, because when we were across the hall, she used to come over and tell me that I was loud, but I feel like this year with a mask on. Well, yeah, but Miss Allie's too quiet. That's her problem. Miss Pettigrew and I just both get loud.
You're more energetic.
Shuffle in the deck. Guys, in like 2 weeks, I get to mix green and blue together.
Yay! How many people are going to be in the class?
In this one, I have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Who's in here?
19.
Wait, what?
So there's 9 of you, and there's 10 of the green class. So, I mean, look at how many empty desks there already are. There will be 2 people at each of the plastic tables,
Oh, yeah.
and there will be a couple more desks up here, and that'll be fine. That'll be it.
What's that
So,
called?
huh?
What's that called?
It is a conic sections cone to look at all the different ways that we could use a lightsaber to make shapes out of a cone. Or any laser, really. It's for my high school math 2 class that I'm teaching. Nate, thank you for volunteering. What do I do first in this next equation?
+6.
We do not, because that -6 is multiplying by the x. You fell in the trap door. You want to try again, Nate? If it's not the 6 we deal with, it's the 12. How do we deal with the 12? We mine it, because this is a positive 12. Guys, I could have also written this equation, or this inequality, as -6x plus 12, if I turn the thing around. So we need to subtract, if my pen will work, subtract 12 off of both sides. Nate, make sure you scribble out or erase whatever you need to over there.
Yeah.
We get -6x is greater than still positive 12. And then, Stella, what do I do next?
You divide both sides.
Look at that. She who tried to pass is now knocking it out of the park. And our answer, no, that's a good thing. Knocking.
I fell into the trap.
It's all right. We helped you out. We tossed you a rope and pulled you up. X is, what's our answer? X is? Ooh, careful, trapdoor. Less than. This turns around. X is less than -2, because that division creates -2. So a couple trapdoors there, guys. Watch out for those trapdoors. What? Yeah.
So, do you just divide one side by both negatives, or like it says when multiplying and dividing both sides by negative numbers, the inequality sign be flipped over. So that's the positive 12 divided by a negative.
Yeah, so it's what we are doing. So if you want the easy way to think about what we are doing, it's what I write in red. Because I know you guys don't switch back and forth in colors, but to try to see, like, visually what we are performing, this is us doing algebra, right? So a lot of teachers will say perform the algebra, and I mean solve is saying the same thing. But over here, we subtracted, and then we divided. So what I'm writing in red is the numbers that we're using, so we divided by a negative. The bottom number is always what you divided by. So this is positive 12 divided by -6. The other trick is when there's a negative attached to the x, like multiplied or divided, you know the trapdoor is there. So that's the other indicators. Like here, when I start this question, I see there's a -3 multiplied by x. I know there's a trapdoor. So I could alert myself right at the beginning. We could say, hey, we know this is going to turn around before the end of the problem. So, Sydney, what would I do first over here? Yeah, subtract our 52. Sorry, I picked up the wrong pen. Subtract our 52 from both sides. We still have -3x. This is still less than right now. And then we have negative, yeah, I don't know why I switched pens. -66. We now, Nate, want to do, what do we want to do on both sides now?
Oh, and then -3. Wait, what?
How is this attached? How's the -3 attached to your x? Times, right? Multiplication. How do we undo that? Divide.
By 3.
Not just 3.
Minus.
-3. Be careful. You really don't want to say minus there. That's wrong, first off. But when we think about the special rule, we're thinking about negative numbers. You don't want to say minus. We're dividing by -3. So that gives us just x, but the trapdoor just happened. That special rule flips the inequality around, and then we get 22. Questions about those three? Because now we're heading into word problems, and in about 10 minutes, we're probably going to take your mastery. When we think about word problem inequalities, it's the same process that we took when setting up equations, except now we're allowed to overshoot the target. So let's say I'm going on a diet because I have to officiate a wedding in Mexico this year, which is true. I need, in the next 9 pounds to trim up just a little bit. It's okay if I go past my target weight that I'm trying to get down to. Also, if I'm trying to save money to buy a new video game, it's okay if I save too much money, right? Because then I have extra. Great, I can buy some candy, right? So when we think about these problems, what we're still going to think about, just like we did in the equations, is where do we start, what happens multiple times, what thing don't we know, and where do we want to get to or get past. Right now, end result is the target that we're going to shoot past. So take a moment to look at Tatiana's situation. You may have seen this if you've already been doing your con. We may want to highlight things now. So if you don't, I see a lot of highlighters over there. I wonder if people didn't get them today. She wants to be... Now, guys, a lot of these situations are going to tell us the thing we don't know that we're trying to solve for. But I want you to get better than that, right, and be ready to do it on your own. So, like, Natalie, what don't we know here? Yeah, if you think that was a coincidence, you don't know us well enough. There we go. Good recovery, Natalie. We don't know the number of packages. Hey, don't let that happen too often, otherwise you get a front row seat, and I doubt that you actually want that. So when we set up our equation, we're going to use P, or even if we use X, the thing we don't know is packages. So we have 5 to start. Awesome. I'm going to buy 4 bracelets at a time. Right? They're in packages of 4. And I'm going to do that multiple times, however many packages we buy. But I could equal the amount that I want, but I could also go past it. So if this is what I have versus what I want, I could equal what I have to what I want, or what I have could be more than what I want. So when we go to set this problem up, what we're actually going to say is not 5 plus 4p equals 32, but 5 plus 4p is greater than or equal to 32. Because it's okay if we end up with extras. Maybe you give a couple to your teachers. Who knows? Nah, you wouldn't give friendship bracelets to your teachers. Who does that? Trying to suck up? No, I'm just teasing. All right, so, Lacey, what do I do first here? Yeah.
I would take away 5.
Absolutely. And this tells us how many more bracelets we gotta get. Right, so if I have 5, I can take 5 away from how many I want to be able to have. And I can say now, well, okay, my 4 bracelets per package needs to be greater than or equal to, I need 27, right? If I already had 5, I need 27 more. Well, now we see 27 doesn't break down into 4 nicely. Anyone know what number bigger than 27 would break down into 4? 28, right? So if this was 28, this would equal nicely. Oh, but that's not what we have. So let's solve what we have. Martin, what do I do here to get p by itself? Divide by 4, right? Which we know is not going to be nice. But go ahead and write it down and grab your calculator. I know, what? So I could write my answer as 27 over 4, but in this case, that doesn't really make sense. Right? I can't go to the store and give me 27 fourths packages of bracelets, please. Yeah, they would probably laugh at me. Actually, they would probably say, sir, I don't know what that number is because, you know, a lot of Americans need some help with their fraction skills. That's why I became a teacher. So if we do this division, we get 6.75. Can anyone tell me a number that is bigger than 6.75 that I could actually purchase? 7. So we can tell her, buy 7 packages. These problems, as crazy as this may sound, we're going to start to solve for what number actually makes sense. We're going to solve it mathematically, but then we're going to say, oh, so what that means is go buy 7. Take a moment to start the problems on the back. I'm going to pull up a funny video clip for you guys because I like you and I'm trying to be nice. And what happens when you think you can only buy partial packages. So this is my favorite example of you cannot buy partial packages.
Said as long as I was escaping, when I mind escaping to the market and picking up something for dinner. Sure, that was all I needed. A busy supermarket. I needed to drive, mellow out, get my mind off the wedding. But mellowing out was not in the cards.
This is a movie called Father of the Bride, and he's kind of going crazy because he's trying to make this wedding happen.
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I will buy 8 hot dogs and 8 hot dog buns to go with it. But no one sells 8 hot dog buns. They only sell 12 hot dog buns. So I end up paying for 4 buns I don't need. So I am removing the superfluous buns.
I'm sorry, sir, but you're going to have to pay for all 12 buns. They're not marked individually.
Yeah. Wow. Because some big shot over at the Wiener Company got together with some big shot over at the Bun Company and decided to rip off the American public. Because they think the American public is a bunch of trusting nitwits who pay for things they don't need for them to make a mistake.
So even if you make a scene, you cannot buy partial packages. So, sorry, my alarm just went off. We're snoozing for 5 minutes because we do not need that whole time for the quiz. So that in itself is a math problem. Guys, if he buys 2 packages of buns that come in 12s, how many buns is that? 24. So how many hot dog packs could he then buy?
4. No.
Try again.
3.
3. So all he needs to do is buy 3 hot dog packs for every 2 packs of buns. But the joke behind that scene is like, he can't think clearly, right? There's so much going on. If you've never seen the movie, it's old, but it's funny. It's like a good family movie, you know, you're just hanging out, whatever. It was, I don't know.
Did the guy in the white shirt sing, I don't know, like parody?
It's from when I was a kid, so like 20 years ago, probably. Me, I'm 30, thank you very much. I'm 31, but I'll cling on to 30 as long as I can.
All teachers look like they just got
Whoa, be careful how you finish that sentence. Wait, what did you say? What was the end of that sentence?
Most of the teachers look like they just came out of college.
Oh, well, thank you. That's better than what you could have said. Martin, on this first problem on the back here, what do we start at? You're right. Like, so this one's really tricky, and I'm glad you said that. That's what we have to start. That's like the dollars we have in our pocket. But we want to look at the cab ride. So when we look at the cab ride, what does the cab ride start at? Not 20. 5, right? Good job. We start at 5. So we're going to say we start at 5, and then we also get charged. Lily, what else do we get charged? Yeah, per kilometer. Guys, this is what the rest of the world uses. So plus $2.50 times the number of kilometers, which they say use D for distance.
Wait, we don't have taxis in Ohio, right?
Yeah, we do. We have every kind of taxi. We have Uber and Lyft and everything else, and taxis. Like, you can just call a taxi service. There are less of them now, but downtown, like when I was in college, you used to be able to just like flag down a taxi. Like they might just be sitting there waiting for a fare. Now, because of Uber and Lyft and all the apps, most of the taxi companies are using apps. And you just go into an app and you say, hey, come get me. So if I only have $20, could I spend all of my $20? Could I equal my $20? Yes. But I don't necessarily want to spend all of it. So, Lacey, what do I actually want to put here?
So, 5 plus 2.5 D, it is equal to or less than.
Yeah, we want to spend less than or equal to 20. Guys, if that doesn't make sense to you up here, you should write spend less than or equal to 20, right? We can spend all of my money, or we could spend less than 20. So this tells us how much we're allowed to spend on the cab, assuming that's the only thing I'm actually spending my money on. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of that initial fee, right? Because we pay $5 no matter what. So immediately after I hop in the cab and pay $5, how much money do I have now? 15. So now what I can spend on the distance that I go, kilometers, is 2.5 times D is less than or equal to 15. Man, that's an expensive initial fee. That $5 just for them to pick you up. So now, Isaiah, what am I going to do to get D by itself? Careful, we divide both sides. You're right, but we divide both sides. So don't specify, just say both sides. And again, calculator. Guys, I'm not trying to make you do this in your head. D is less than or equal to, is it an even 6? Sweet. And then throw a label on there. D is less than or equal to 6 kilometers. Oh, I just got real confused. My alarm started going off, and I'm like, why do I hear music? All right, so now we're going to take a pause and take these mini masteries really quick, and I want them back today right now before you walk out of my classroom, so that's why we're going to spend the next 5 or 10 minutes on them, and then Mike come back to the notes and do a couple more of those. If you finish the mini mastery, I'm going to probably like pull my stool into the middle up there, come up there, drop it on the stool, and then keep working on your notes, like the next problems in your notes. I'm going to solve like the next couple problems of your notes. So then in a minute, you can just check your notes and make sure that they're good. Yeah, you can use the notes that are on your desk right now. Well, actually try not to. Here's your challenge. Shove your notes under this paper. Just do me a favor. Shove your notes under this paper. I want you to see if you can do it without. Can you do it without any extra help? If you end up needing to use your notes, just up at the top by your name and date, just leave me a little note, I use my notes. It's okay, I don't care, it's not going to change your grade. I just want to know, do you still need a little bit of help right now? Or are you like doing this confidently on your own? So try to do it without your notes. And actually leave me a little note either way. Leave me a note if you did it without notes, and tell me if you did it with notes. What? It's a game. Like, it is literally just, it's a game.
Oh, I know that game.
You are making quilts. It's a fun little geometry type game.
My friend loves
It's sort of like Tetris, but in board game format. You may use a calculator, yes. For the first two, you may not need to, because I wrote those problems. I made them slightly easier. And then the third one, you can tell is a problem just straight from like what we've been doing. Yeah. You talking about number one? Yeah. Anytime.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, that's multiplication. We have parenthesis against parenthesis. That is multiplication. And obviously I wrote that problem because it does plus the negative instead of just doing minus. Yeah, that's obviously a Mr. Hudson problem.
What do you do if you still need help?
That means you're going to be progressing. So you can write me a note about what it is you still need help with, or maybe you're behind on your practice, and you're like, yeah, this makes me realize I need to do my practice. So this will be our first mastery grade for quarter 4. I normally have most of my masteries in quarter 3. That will not be true this year. Quarter 4 is going to have most of our masteries because now we're finally back at school. Yeah, quarter 4. Yep. Kind of. Not really, according to Worthington, but because of how Phoenix does our grading, any grades we're taking now are quarter 4 grades. So it's not technically quarter 4 yet, but quarter 4 grading. Bless you. Guys, I'm going to put the answer to the elevator one up on the screen, and of course I'm still recording, so if you want to come back to be able to look at it later in the video, you can. You can copy it down on your paper if you want to, but this shows a really good application of why that special rule has to happen. So I'm not going to keep talking because I want to let people that are finishing the quiz finish up. But if you're done, I would copy that down and look at, oh yeah, that's why that special rule needs to happen.
I got the same answer, but I did it completely wrong, and I realized you can't remove negative 5 packages, so I was like, no. And I just didn't do that.
You probably did it the same way, but with some sign issues.
Yeah.
If you got negative packages, that's probably what happened. So this is why when I started, I wrote mass in elevator, can be less than 450, because that's the first thing they tell us, is the limit is 450. And then I established we have a current mass, and we're going to remove packages that each weigh 37.4, and we're going to do that multiple packages. And that needs to be under the mass limit. Now, this is where we're going to start talking on Friday. And if I need to extend due dates, I can do that on Friday, but this is where we're going to start on Friday. Oh yeah, I keep thinking that you guys are green. So this is where we're going to start on Monday. If I realize I need to extend due date, like, guys, the problem is, if no one emails me and asks me for help and no one comes to, like, AOR extensions, I assume you're just being lazy. Like, sorry, but that's really, like, if I'm just talking honestly, like, I don't assume you need help if you don't come get help during the times we build into your day to come get help. So I'm not really encouraged to extend due dates if no one's been coming to extensions or anything like that. So if you email me and say, hey, I'm really struggling with the content, I've tried it, but I'm struggling, can you extend the due date? That's different. So I encourage you to do that if you want to, if that's actually true, because then know that I will go check your account and see how I might be able to help you.
Wait, who's your nephew? I mean, like, what is nephew supposed to mean?
Nephew means your brother or sister have a son. I am their uncle, making them my nephew. I also have a niece who just turned 16 because my wife's brother is a lot older than us. So my brother is not very much older than me, so he just had a child. My wife's brother, who's like a decent amount older, had a kid a long time ago, so that makes her my niece, like, by marriage. So technically she's nothing, actually, to me, but by marriage, she's like my niece. And I helped raise her, so, and she's half my tattoo. That's on my arm, so. So, kind of connected. Gonna come on with wipes. Before you wipe your desk, you gotta drop your quiz. So even if it's not done, progressings are fine, guys. Getting a progressing just means I need a little bit more time, I need a little bit more help. Maybe you need a little bit more effort. So before you wipe your desk, you gotta go get ready your quiz. Yeah, mini mastery quiz, whatever you want to call it. More pieces of paper that we use. We still have a couple minutes. We don't leave till 52 technically, I don't think. Yep, you got 2 minutes, guys, so no rush. So guys, up here, if you weren't listening as Stella and I were talking about this, we're told that the limit for the elevator is 450. When we have a limit, like a speed limit or something like that, we are allowed to be under or equal.
I did everything right, but I did addition instead of subtraction. So that's why that's why they're not.
So now you could have also subtracted 450 from both sides and added 37.4p to both sides if you want to, like, get to positive numbers. That's another way to solve this. Alright guys, you can head on out if you want. Have a wonderful day.
I was doing